Nearly 80 years ago, something crashed onto a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico. Since then, there have been hundreds of thousands of reports, conflicting claims, eyewitness accounts, and even video evidence of unidentified objects that seem to be not of our world. And the authorities denied all of them. But in just a few months from now, we may finally know the whole truth, and it could be the most important event in history. Hold on tight as we look at the incredible new allegations that have rocked the US government and led to senior politicians from both parties demanding answers right now. Could the US really be concealing intact alien craft and the bodies of the occupants? Have they secretly been reverse engineering alien tech for decades? Is there really actual evidence that aliens are here? More and more high-ranking government officials are coming forward with incredible stories, and this time it seems the government can't deny them.
Sometimes you encounter dead pilots, and believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
In what could be the biggest, most unexpected bombshell ever to hit the US, Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, working together with a bipartisan group of 5 other senators, is seeking to force the US government to form a committee that will release all the classified documents it holds relating to unidentified flying objects within 300 days to a Senate-appointed review board. The Senate Intelligence Committee has also unanimously adopted a provision to cut federal funding to any program that is secretly reverse engineering objects of non-Earth or exotic origin. It follows on from an amendment to the 2023 National Defense Authorization Act, mandating the Pentagon to provide senior senators with any classified or previously undisclosed programs relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena, including with respect to material retrieval, material analysis, reverse engineering. The fact that this is all being put into law is almost impossible to believe. But according to Marco Rubio, one of the other senators involved, officials holding high positions within our government have come forward with first-hand claims. Some of these claims, he says, are beyond the realm of what any of us has ever dealt with. So, what evidence could possibly bring Democrats and Republicans together to take such unprecedented action? And why now? Over the past few years, whispers have begun to circulate of highly placed officials who had evidence of secret programs, hidden even from lawmakers. Many of these whistleblowers said they'd been threatened for daring to speak out and were bound by non-disclosure agreements that stopped them legally from saying more. Following secret briefings by senior officials, in 2020 the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence demanded an official report on UAPs from the intelligence community, but the results satisfied no one. When it was finally published in 2021, the public report turned out to be just 9 pages long and inconclusive. To many, it seemed just another government whitewash, like earlier UFO reports dating back to the 1940s. But Congress seemed to have been given, or uncovered, more information, because in 2022 it mandated the formation of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO. The new body, bringing together a number of previous separate organisations, was tasked with not just reviewing all the historical intelligence data, but also protecting those who felt silenced by non-disclosure agreements, allowing them to speak freely about what they knew. And what followed may change history. Coming up next, we'll be hearing from the man who, finally, may have blown the lid off the biggest conspiracy of all time. David Charles Grusch is a decorated Air Force vet who served in Afghanistan and went on to serve with the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office. As part of the AARO and one of its predecessors, called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, he'd been right at the heart of the investigation. But on April 7, 2023, Grusch put in a formal complaint to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, quit his job, and went public. And what he said was sensational. According to Grusch, America possesses intact and partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. Call it spacecraft, if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but no kidding, non-human exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed. And not just vehicles. Naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true. Incredibly, all of this, and even more alarming claims, were said to be hidden from Congress in ultra-secret covert programs run by the government and private military-industrial contractors. According to Grusch, he tried to report this activity, but was immediately threatened with prosecution, imprisonment, or worse, which led to the filing of his complaint and his resignation. But come on, these claims are beyond belief. And of course, the Pentagon immediately said they knew of no such programs. So is Grusch mistaken, or perhaps just another nutjob seeking publicity? If it was just him saying this stuff, that may be easy to believe, but many other senior officials are breaking cover to back up his claims. According to Colonel Carl Nell, who was part of the UAP task force with Grusch, his assertion is fundamentally correct, as is the indisputable realization that at least some of these technologies of unknown origin derive from non-human intelligence. He added that Grusch himself is beyond reproach. Laura A. Potter, Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, Headquarters, Department of the Army, called Grusch an officer with the strongest possible moral compass. And remarkably, the man who's representing Grusch in his complaint against the government is General Charles McCullough III, a lawyer and the first Intelligence Community Inspector General. That's the man who until 2017 was in charge of detecting fraud and mismanagement in government, now officially defending a man making accusations of that and much more. These are not bitter ex-government employees with an axe to grind and money to make. Instead, the claims are coming from well-placed, well-regarded experts, and there are so many of them saying the same things. In the words of Senator Rubio, most of these people at some point, or maybe even currently, have held very high clearances and high positions within our government. So you do ask yourself, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification have to come forward and make something up? But what exactly are these allegations? Stick around as I piece together the incredible stories told by Grusch and others. Much of what Grusch alleges over hundreds of pages and hours of recorded testimony remains classified, but what has already been revealed is truly breathtaking. Somewhere, under layers of secrecy so deep that not even Congress knows what's going on, are covert operations to identify and recover UAPs, or what he terms non-human origin technical vehicles. We are not talking about prosaic origins or identities. The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles. And these artifacts are not being held purely for study. According to Grusch, the US is involved in an 80-year arms race with Russia and China to identify and recover these craft and reverse engineer them to gain asymmetric national defense advantages. Put in English, somewhere in the US, people are, right now, working to create weapons from recovered alien technology in a race against the clock to beat hostile nations, who are also seeking to develop similar weapons. Even more sensationally, the aliens themselves are here, and they may not be friendly. I think the mistake is that, because they're advanced, they're kind. We'll never really understand their full intent, and that's because we're not them. But I think what appears to be malevolent activity has happened. I saw substantive evidence that crime was committed. And all of this, he claims, is being hidden from the public. Congress and even the very operatives, like Grusch himself, who are supposed to be investigating UAP activity. So extreme were these allegations that at first, even he didn't believe it. I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. People started to confide in me, approach me. I have plenty of senior, former intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me that they were a part of the program. And as we'll see next, at an historic congressional hearing, Grusch and others reveal yet more details. In an unprecedented hearing of the Senate Subcommittee on Oversight and Administration, politicians from both sides of the House demanded that the US government should reveal what it knows about UAP activity.
We're just going to get to the facts. We're going to uncover the cover-up, and I hope this is just the beginning of many more hearings and more people coming forward about this.
It is time to have an open-minded discussion on this topic, to hear the evidence and understand the magnitude of what this means not just for our nation, but for humanity. Thank you.
Now, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence has published public reports documenting UAPs, and on June 9th, 2022, NASA announced that the agency is commissioning a study to, of course, examine unidentified anomalous phenomena. Now, the sheer number of reports, whistleblowers, and stories of unidentified anomalous phenomena should raise real questions and warrant investigation and oversight. And that's why we are here today.
There are 171 uncharacterized UAP reports, and this is the words from the report, that appear to have demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities. I believe more information is known about the 171 instances. It's time
for the
Congress
first time, there was also testimony put on the record by former military personnel, such as this former F-18 pilot describing his own experience.
During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, 2 F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter. The mission commander terminated the flight immediately and returned to base. Our squadron submitted a safety report, but there was no official acknowledgement of the incident and no further mechanism to report the sightings.
Now representing other whistleblowers as founders of Americans for Safe Aerospace, he went on to describe further UAP activity. Similar encounters were also outlined by former Navy Commander David Fravor.
We arrived at the location at approximately 20,000 feet in a controller called merge plot, which means that our radar blip was now in the same resolution cell as the contact. As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some whitewater off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no whitecaps from waves. So the whitewater stood out in a large blue ocean. All 4 of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down a small, saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water like a ping-pong ball.
David Grusch also testified, doubling down on his earlier revelations. Even a few years ago, such a hearing would have been impossible to imagine. Credible, first-hand evidence of UAP activity from government officials testifying under oath to a congressional committee. And it seems there are still many more incredible truths waiting to be revealed, perhaps only a few months from now. According to Senator Schumer, the man now leading the fight to unlock America's alien secrets, the sheer number and variety of claims led some in Congress to believe that the government was concealing important information regarding UAPs over broad periods of time, and that credible evidence and testimony indicates that federal government records exist that have not been declassified as required by law. Some politicians do believe the claims of aliens. Many others are worried about the national security implications, perhaps that some of this advanced secret technology is actually from hostile countries here on Earth. But either way, according to Senator Rubio, if Grusch and others are telling the truth, it also means there are entire, deeply hidden layers of government that are accountable to no one. We need to find answers, because at the end of the day, anytime agencies of the federal government are unsupervised and do whatever they want, it's generally not a good outcome for the country. So, will Schumer's new committee get formed? Will it face the same blocking tactics as the 1993 investigations that tried to unlock the truth behind the assassination of JFK? Or, very soon now, will we really know the full truth? The clock is ticking. With many more revelations to come, you can bet we'll be keeping a very close eye of this story. But what's your take on it all? Let us know in the comments, and like and subscribe to make sure you see new videos first. Thanks for watching.